Jack Holloway walked out of the office building at 8:30 p.m., his shoulders tense after another long day. The rain had started an hour ago, turning Seattle's streets into shiny black mirrors that reflected the city lights. He pulled his jacket tighter and adjusted the laptop bag on his shoulder. After 12 hours working on propulsion system equations, all he wanted was a hot meal and sleep. Taking his usual shortcut through Westlake Park would save him 10 minutes. The park was mostly empty this late, especially in the rain. Jack didn't mind. After years in special forces before becoming an engineer, he still preferred quiet spaces where he could see everything around him. What Jack didn't know was that 5 pairs of eyes were watching his every move. They had been tracking him for days, learning his habits and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The tallest of the 5 watchers, a being named Vorn, growled softly. The human follows the same path again. Predictable. Silence, hissed HFY, the leader of the group. She appeared human to anyone who might glance their way, but beneath the disguise was something very different. Remember the mission parameters. Quick, clean, and it must look like human violence. The Vexari High Command had been clear. Eliminate the human engineer without raising suspicion. Jack Holloway's recent work on advanced propulsion systems had accidentally stumbled upon principles that threatened the Vexari Imperium's control over interstellar travel. For centuries, the Vexari had kept hundreds of species under their thumb by controlling who could travel between stars. A human discovering how to break those chains was unacceptable. Krelzak, the group's tracker, clicked his hidden mandibles together in what passed for nervousness among his kind. The human's bio-readings show military training. He is not a typical engineer. That information was not in his file, Dex 12 said, the cybernetic implants under his human disguise whirring quietly. The Vexari intelligence may be incomplete. The 5th member of the group, Naomi, adjusted her appearance to match a human woman who had passed by earlier. Her species could change their form at will, making her the perfect infiltrator. The Vexari often underestimate those they consider lesser species. HFY shot Naomi a warning look. Such talk bordered on treason. Spread out. Approach from all sides. Remember your training. Jack felt the change in the air before he saw anything wrong. Something about the empty park suddenly felt off. His old combat instincts, never fully dormant, began to wake up. He slowed his pace and scanned his surroundings without being obvious about it. There. 5 people entering the park from different directions, moving too deliberately. Not random park goers. Jack's heart rate increased, but his mind grew calmer. If this was a mugging, it was unusually coordinated. Just keep walking, he told himself. Don't show that you've noticed. The trap closed quickly. A tall man stepped directly into Jack's path while the others formed a loose circle around him. Jack stopped, his hand casually dropping to his side where he carried a small tactical flashlight, the only weapon he had on him. Wallet and phone. Now, the tall man demanded, his voice oddly deep and unnatural. Jack assessed his options. 5 against 1. No visible weapons yet, but the way they moved suggested training. Not your average street thugs. Look, I don't want trouble, Jack said, playing along while looking for an opening. I'll give you what you want. The woman to his left, slim, dark-haired, tilted her head strangely, as if listening to something no one else could hear. Jack felt a sudden pressure in his mind, like someone trying to push into his thoughts. A severe headache bloomed behind his eyes, but he fought through it. That's when Jack knew. These weren't muggers. The tall one moved first, reaching for Jack, with hands that seemed slightly too large. Jack's training took over. He twisted away, striking with his flashlight at the attacker's elbow joint. There was a crack that didn't sound human, and the tall attacker howled in pain, a sound that definitely wasn't human. He's resistant to psychic control, the woman shouted, her voice containing tones no human vocal cords could produce. Jack didn't wait to find out what that meant. He drove his knee into the tall one's stomach and used the momentum to break through the circle, running toward the park exit. A blur of movement cut him off. The youngest-looking man of the group moved, with impossible speed blocking Jack's escape. His arm extended, revealing what looked like a weapon hidden beneath his sleeve. "Stand down, human," he said. "The Vexari High Command has deemed you a threat to galactic stability." Jack's mind raced to process what he was hearing while his body automatically shifted into a defensive stance. "What the hell are you talking about?" The tracker, Krelzak, approached from behind. "Your propulsion system designs. They violate containment protocols for pre-interstellar species." "You're not making any sense?" Jack backed away, keeping all five in his sight. "And you're definitely not muggers." The tall one, Vorn, had recovered and was advancing again, his human disguise flickering to reveal patches of scaled skin. "Your death will be quick if you cooperate. The alternative will not be pleasant." Rain poured down harder as Jack weighed his severely limited options. Run? Fight? Neither seemed likely to end well against whatever these beings were. The woman, HFY, raised her hand, and Jack felt that pressure in his mind again, stronger this time. "Your resistance is unusual," she said. "Most humans cannot withstand even basic psychic suggestion." "Special Forces training included resistance to psychological manipulation," Jack replied, stalling for time. "Though they never mentioned it would help against aliens." Naomi, the shapeshifter, exchanged a look with Dex 12, the cybernetic one. Something passed between them, a moment of decision. Krelzak noticed it too, his posture shifting slightly. "The human shows remarkable adaptation," Dex 12 said, his tone oddly measured. "Perhaps the Vexari assessment was hasty." HFY's eyes narrowed. "The mission parameters are clear. Eliminate the threat." "Is he truly a threat?" Naomi asked. "Or is he simply an explorer who found something the Vexari wish to keep hidden?" Vorn growled. "This is treason." In that moment of divided attention, Jack made his move. He ducked under Vorn's reach and sprinted for the park entrance, where streetlights and potential witnesses might offer some protection. He made it 3 steps before something hit him from behind. Not Vorn or HFY, but Dex 12, moving faster than humanly possible. But instead of attacking, Dex 12 pulled Jack behind a large tree. "Listen quickly," Dex 12 whispered, his human disguise flickering to reveal metal components beneath. "3 of us wish to help you. The Vexari have lied to us all. Your work must continue." Before Jack could respond, Vorn's massive form came crashing toward them, no longer caring about maintaining his human appearance. Patches of his skin had become thick green scales, and his eyes glowed yellow in the darkness. "Traitors!" he roared. The night exploded into chaos as Jack Holloway's world changed forever. Jack ducked as Vorn's massive fist smashed into the tree where his head had been moments before. Bark exploded outward, revealing the incredible strength hidden beneath the alien's disguise. "Stay behind me," Dex 12 said, stepping between Jack and the enraged Vorn. His human appearance flickered like a bad television signal, showing glimpses of metal and glowing components underneath. HFY's voice cut through the rain. "All of you, stop this foolishness immediately. The mission comes first." But the battle lines had been drawn. Naomi slid through the rain to Jack's side, her form shifting between human and something fluid and blue. Krelzak moved with insect-like precision, circling to protect their rear. 3 against 2, Naomi said quietly. "Better odds for you, human." Jack's military training kicked in fully now. Assess the situation, identify allies and enemies, find an escape route. "Why are you helping me?" Krelzak clicked something that sounded like laughter. "The enemy of my enemy, as your people say." Vorn charged again, this time aiming for Dex 12. The cybernetic being met the charge head-on, metal reinforcements in his arms extending to match Vorn's strength. They crashed together with a sound like thunder. HFY raised both hands, her eyes glowing purple in the darkness. The rain around her began to freeze in midair. "You betray not just me but the entire Imperium. The penalty is death." Jack felt that pressure in his mind again, stronger now, like someone trying to crush his thoughts. But he wasn't the only target this time. Naomi gasped beside him, clutching her head. "She's trying to control us all at once," Naomi struggled to say. Fighting 3 minds plus yours is stretching her thin. Jack remembered his resistance training. Focus on something concrete, a memory, a sensation, anything real to anchor your thoughts. He concentrated on the feeling of rain on his skin, the solid ground beneath his feet. I don't know what's happening, but I know when to retreat, Jack said. We need to get out of here. Krelzak tapped something on his wrist. A high-pitched whine filled the air, and suddenly Asharai screamed in pain. Psychic dampener, Krelzak explained. Limited range, limited time, we must hurry. Dex 12 and Vorn were locked in combat, mechanical strength against biological power. Neither was giving ground. The park around them was being torn apart. Benches splintered, pavement cracked. People are going to notice this, Jack said. Whatever, you are. You're not being very subtle anymore. Subtlety is no longer an option, Naomi replied. She touched Jack's arm. Your work matters more than you know. It could free dozens of species from Vexari control. A small crowd was gathering at the edges of the park, humans with phones raised recording the impossible battle. Some were calling for police. Soon the place would be swarming with authorities who couldn't possibly understand what they were witnessing. Krelzak made a sharp whistling sound. Dex 12 immediately disengaged from Vorn, leaping backward with inhuman agility. Time to go, he said. Vorn roared in fury but didn't pursue. Instead, he helped Asharai to her feet. Her psychic attack had faded when Krelzak activated his device, but she was recovering quickly. This isn't over, she hissed. The Vexari do not tolerate betrayal or failure. We must disperse before human authorities arrive, Krelzak said urgently. I can hide our energy signatures for approximately 20 minutes. Jack found himself running through back alleys and side streets, following 3 aliens who had, minutes ago, been sent to kill him. The rain continued to pour, washing away evidence of the confrontation but doing nothing to clear Jack's confusion. After 15 minutes of evasion tactics that reminded Jack of his Special Forces days, they arrived at an abandoned warehouse near the waterfront. The building looked like it hadn't been used in years, with broken windows and graffiti covering the walls. Inside, Dex 12 secured the perimeter while Krelzak set up small devices at each entrance. Motion sensors and signal jammers, he explained, when he caught Jack watching. Basic precautions. Naomi found a dry corner with some old furniture, a desk and some chairs that had been left behind. We should be safe here for a few hours. Jack sat down, his body suddenly reminding him that he'd just been in combat with alien beings. His muscles ached, and a cut on his arm was beginning to sting. I think it's time for some explanations, he said firmly. Who are you people, and why was I marked for death? The 3 aliens exchanged looks. Finally, Dex 12 spoke. We were, assassins for the Vexari Imperium. I am from a planet you would call Tyrannus. My people were conquered 300 years ago. Now we serve as soldiers and technicians. Naomi's form settled into something almost human, but with blue-tinted skin and eyes that were too large. My homeworld was taken 2 centuries ago. Shapeshifters make excellent spies and infiltrators. Krelzak remained near the window watching, for pursuit. My kind were among the first the Vexari subjugated nearly 1,000 years ago. We build their tracking systems and surveillance networks. Jack tried to process this information. Alien empires, conquered worlds, assassins. It sounded like science fiction, yet the evidence was right in front of him. And these Vexari want me dead because of my propulsion system work? I'm just an engineer at an aerospace company. Not just an engineer, Dex 12 said. Your recent breakthrough in propulsion mathematics accidentally discovered a principle the Vexari have kept secret for millennia. If developed further, your work would allow humans to achieve interstellar travel centuries before the Vexari planned to allow it. Naomi nodded. The Vexari control thousands of worlds by controlling who can travel between stars. Species that might challenge them are kept isolated or dependent on Vexari technology. Your discovery, Krelzak added, threatens that control. If humans develop independent interstellar capability, other species might follow. The Vexari Empire could crumble. Jack ran a hand through his wet hair, trying to make sense of it all. So they sent you 5 to kill me and make it look like a mugging. Why did you 3 turn against them? Dex 12's mechanical eyes dimmed slightly. We have watched Earth for some time. Your people fight among yourselves, yes, but you also show remarkable independence and creativity. The Vexari fear these qualities. Many of us who serve the Imperium do so under duress. Naomi explained. Our worlds are held hostage, but some of us have been looking for a way to break free. Krelzak turned from the window. You, Jack Holloway, with your accidental discovery, might be the key to freedom for dozens of enslaved species across the galaxy. A heavy silence fell over the warehouse. Jack stood up and paced, his mind racing with implications. His life had changed forever in the span of an hour. Everything he thought he knew about humanity's place in the universe had been turned upside down. Vorn and Asherai will report back to their masters, Dex 12 said, breaking the silence. More assassins will come. Next time they won't bother with disguises or subtlety. So what do we do? Jack asked. Naomi's large eyes fixed on him. We help you complete your work. We protect you. And perhaps together we change the fate of many worlds. Outside, the rain had finally stopped. Dawn was still hours away, but Jack Holloway knew that for him, a new day had already begun. Morning light filtered through the broken windows of the warehouse, casting long shadows across the concrete floor. Jack had managed a few hours of restless sleep on a pile of old tarps, while his 3 alien companions kept watch in shifts. Now fully awake, he checked his phone. 27 missed calls from work. It was Monday and he hadn't shown up or called in. Your communication device is not secure, Krelzak said, noticing Jack looking at his phone. The Vexari can track such signals. Jack put the phone away. I need to get my research notes from the office. Everything about the propulsion system is there. Dex 12, who had been standing motionless by the door for hours, turned toward them. That would be expected. Vorn and Asherai will have your workplace under surveillance. We need help, Jack said. Someone I can trust. He thought about his options. Family was out of the question. He wouldn't put them in danger. Most friends wouldn't believe him anyway. But there was one person who might. I know someone, Jack said. Sam Reeves. We served together in special forces. She works in military intelligence now. Naomi, who had shifted her appearance to look more human in the daylight, raised an eyebrow. Can this human be trusted with knowledge of extraterrestrial life? Most of your species would panic. Sam's different, Jack insisted. She's seen things during our deployments that were classified beyond top secret. She knows when to keep quiet and when to act. Krelzak made a series of clicking sounds that might have been him thinking. A military intelligence operative could provide useful resources, but contacting her without alerting the Vexari will be difficult. I know where she lives, Jack said. It's about 30 minutes from here. No phones, no electronics. We go in person. The journey across the city was tense. Jack borrowed clothes from a donation bin behind a shelter to replace his torn and dirty outfit. Naomi shifted her appearance to blend in perfectly with the morning commuters. Dex 12 and Krelzak had more difficulty, one partly mechanical and the other insectoid beneath their disguises. But they managed to adjust their appearances enough to avoid immediate notice. They traveled separately, using hand signals Jack taught them from his military days to communicate across distances. 3 times they spotted possible Vexari watchers, people who stood too still, whose eyes tracked movements with mechanical precision, or who spoke into devices that didn't look quite like normal phones. Sam's apartment was in a converted factory, building with good security and few neighbors. Jack approached alone while his alien allies watched from different vantage points. He pressed the intercom button. Who is it? Sam's voice came through the speaker, sharp and alert even though it was barely 7 a.m. It's Jack. I need help, Sam. The kind we can't talk about over open channels. A long pause. Come up. Sam Reeves was a compact woman with short blonde hair and eyes that missed nothing. She opened her door with one hand while the other remained behind her back, likely holding a weapon. When she saw Jack's condition, cuts on his face, bruises forming on his arms, Her expression hardened. Inside. Now. Once the door closed, Sam did a quick sweep of Jack for tracking devices before speaking. You look like hell. Who's after you? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. Jack took a deep breath. Aliens. 5 of them sent to kill me, but 3 switched sides and are now helping me. To her credit, Sam didn't laugh or call him crazy. She studied his face carefully, looking for signs of drugs, concussion, or mental breakdown. Finding none, she simply asked, "Where are they now?" "Watching the building. I can signal them to come up if you're willing to meet them." Sam walked to her window and subtly checked the surroundings. Do it. 20 minutes later, Sam's living room contained 3 beings who had dropped all pretense of looking human. Krelzak's insectoid form clicked and whirred as he set up jammers to prevent surveillance. Dex 12's mechanical parts were fully visible, glinting in the morning light. Naomi had settled into her natural blue-skinned state, her large eyes taking in everything. Sam handled it better than Jack expected. After an initial widening of her eyes, she became all business. Let me get this straight. Jack accidentally discovered some space travel secret, and now an alien empire wants him dead to keep it quiet. The Vexari control interstellar travel throughout this sector of the galaxy, Dex 12 explained. They decide which species can leave their home systems and when. Earth is considered a developing world, Naomi added. The Vexari plan to allow humans limited space travel in approximately 200 years, once they have firmly established control mechanisms. Krelzak's mandibles clicked. Jack's propulsion mathematics would allow humans to bypass this timeline completely. The Vexari cannot allow this. Sam walked to a cabinet and pulled out an old military map case. So we're talking about a threat to national security. Hell, planetary security. Precisely, Dex 12 said. Sam spread a city map on her table. First things first, we need to secure Jack's research before they destroy it. Then we need someplace safe to work, off the grid. My office will be watched, Jack warned. Sam nodded. Count on it. But I have resources. People who won't ask questions if I call in favors. She looked at Naomi. Can you still look human? Perfectly human? Yes, Naomi said, shifting into an exact duplicate of Sam herself. Will this do? Sam blinked at her double. That's unsettling but useful. Here's what we do. I'll create a distraction at the front of Jack's building. Security knows me. Naomi, looking like me, will enter through the back using my credentials. Jack, you draw a map of exactly where your research is kept. Krelzak produced a small device from somewhere within his exoskeleton. This will copy any digital information rapidly and completely. Dex 12 stood by the window, scanning the street below. We should act quickly. I detect communication patterns consistent with Vexari search protocols. Sam strapped on a holster and checked her gun. What about the other 2? The ones still trying to kill Jack? Vorn is physically powerful but not intelligent, Dex 12 said. Asharai is the real threat. Her psychic abilities can control most humans with ease. Jack remembered the pressure in his mind during their first encounter. She couldn't control me completely. Unusual, Krelzak noted. Your mind has natural resistance, rare among humans. Sam finished gearing up with a small radio and extra ammunition. One more thing. Why should I trust you 3? How do I know this isn't some elaborate trap? Naomi shifted back to her blue form. If we wanted Jack dead, he would be. We defied our masters and signed our own death warrants by helping him. Dex 12 nodded. The Vexari do not permit failure or betrayal. We cannot go back. Krelzak made a solemn gesture with his upper limbs. We seek freedom for our worlds. Jack's discovery could break chains that have bound us for centuries. Sam and Jack exchanged looks. Years of working dangerous missions together had taught them to read each other well. Finally, Sam nodded. Good enough for now. Let's move out, in 30 minutes. As they prepared to leave, Jack felt a strange mix of fear and hope. 24 hours ago, his biggest concern had been meeting a project deadline. Now he was caught in an interstellar conflict with the fate of multiple worlds potentially resting on his work. "Sam," he said quietly while the others were busy, "thanks for believing me." She checked her weapon one last time. "Don't thank me yet. The hard part's just beginning." Outside, the morning sun continued to rise over Seattle, the city's residents unaware that their future was about to change forever. The aerospace company where Jack worked was housed in a gleaming 12-story building downtown. Security cameras covered every entrance and guards checked IDs at all access points. Under normal circumstances, it would be nearly impossible to sneak in. But these were not normal circumstances. Sam parked her car 2 blocks away. "Everyone clear on the plan?" Jack nodded, studying the building through binoculars. "Security changes shifts at 11:30. That gives us a 15-minute window of confusion." Dex 12, back in his human disguise, checked the small devices Krelzak had provided. "These will interrupt their surveillance systems for exactly 7 minutes. And I'll keep watch from the roof across the street," Krelzak added. His alien form was too distinct to risk in public, even with the disguise technology. Naomi, now appearing exactly like Sam, adjusted her clothing. "I've memorized the building layout. 9th floor, west corner office, locked cabinet behind the desk." Sam handed Naomi her ID badge. "Remember, if anyone speaks to you, keep it brief. You're there on official business and in a hurry." As 11:30 approached, they split up. Sam walked confidently toward the front entrance while Naomi, looking identical to her, circled around to the service entrance at the back. Jack, Dex 12, and Krelzak took their positions. Right on schedule, the security shift changed. Sam flashed her military intelligence credentials at the front desk, demanding to speak with the company's security director about an urgent national security matter. Her loud, authoritative presence drew everyone's attention. Meanwhile, Naomi slipped in through the back, using Sam's ID to access the service elevator. Krelzak activated his devices from the nearby rooftop, causing a brief flicker in the building's electronic systems. Security monitors showed only recorded footage from 10 minutes earlier. Naomi reached the 9th floor without incident. Jack's office was empty, just as they had hoped. She quickly found the locked cabinet, used the key Jack had provided, and began copying the research files onto Krelzak's device. Everything was going according to plan until the office door suddenly opened. A man in a suit stood there staring at her in confusion. "Agent Reeves, what are you doing in Holloway's office?" Naomi adopted Sam's confident manner. "Official business. I'm afraid I can't discuss it." The man frowned. "Strange. I just got a call from downstairs saying you were meeting with our security team right now." Naomi's disguise didn't falter, but she knew they had a problem. "There must be some confusion. If you'll excuse me, this is time-sensitive." She brushed past him, the copying device safely hidden in her pocket with Jack's research now stored on it. As she walked toward the elevator, she heard the man speaking urgently into his phone. Outside, Jack watched through binoculars as a sleek black car pulled up to the building's entrance. 2 people stepped out, Vorn and Asherai in their human disguises. "They're here," Jack said into his radio. "Sam, Naomi, get out now." Sam heard the warning through her earpiece. She immediately cut short her fake meeting and headed for the exit. "False alarm, gentlemen. I'll be in touch." She stepped into the lobby just as Vorn and Asherai entered. Their eyes met, and Asherai tilted her head curiously. Sam kept walking, maintaining a calm pace despite her racing heart. On the 9th floor, Naomi had abandoned her Sam disguise, shifting to look like one of the company's employees she had seen in a photo directory. She took the stairs instead of waiting for the elevator. Krelzak's voice came through their communication devices. "More Vexari agents approaching from the east. They've brought reinforcements." Dex 12 started the getaway car. "All units converge. At extraction point B. Hurry." Sam exited the building and walked briskly toward their meeting point. She was 3 blocks away when she heard footsteps behind her. Vorn was following her. "Human." His unnaturally deep voice called out. "Stop." Sam ducked into a crowded coffee shop, weaving between customers and out through the kitchen. "The chef," yelled as she pushed past him and exited into an alley. Vorn followed, no longer caring about maintaining his cover. Patches of green scales showed through his failing disguise. Sam drew her gun as she ran. "I've got company, big guy, scales showing. Could use some help here." Jack and Dex 12 changed direction, heading toward Sam's location. Naomi had already reached the car and was waiting with the research. In the alley, Sam fired 2 warning shots. The bullets hit Vorn but barely slowed him down. His skin seemed to absorb the impact. "Your weapons cannot harm me," Vorn growled. "Maybe not," Sam replied. "But I bet this will hurt." She fired at a steam pipe on the wall above Vorn's head. Hot steam erupted, filling the alley with a blinding cloud. Vorn roared in pain as the scalding vapor hit his exposed scales. Sam used the distraction to escape, turning corners and using every trick she'd learned in her military career to lose her pursuer. 5 minutes later, she reached the car where the others were waiting. "Did you get it?" she asked, breathing hard. Naomi held up Krelzak's device. "Everything. Jack's complete research." They drove quickly but carefully, avoiding main roads. Krelzak rejoined them at an abandoned gas station on the outskirts of the city. "The Vexari have declared a full hunt," he reported grimly. "They're no longer concerned about remaining hidden. HFY has contacted their ship in orbit." Jack looked alarmed. "There's a ship above Earth?" Dex 12 nodded. "A small scout vessel, standard procedure for assessment missions." Sam drove them to a cabin in the mountains, a safe house only she knew about. It was stocked with supplies, had no electronic connections to the outside world, and was difficult to approach without being seen. As night fell, they gathered around a table where Jack's research was displayed on a portable screen Dex 12 had provided. "This is it," Jack explained, pointing to a series of equations. "The propulsion system I've been working on. It started as a way to improve fuel efficiency for atmospheric flight. But something unexpected happened in the calculations." Krelzak studied the equations with his alien eyes. "You discovered gravitational manipulation principles, the foundation of interstellar travel." Without realizing it, Naomi added, Dex 12 interfaced directly with the data through ports in his wrist. "With some adjustments, this could be built with Earth's current technology level, crude but functional." "So what's our next move?" Sam asked. "We have 5 aliens who want to kill Jack, a ship in orbit, and equations that could change human history." Jack stared at his work, seeing it through new eyes. "We need to protect this information. If the Vexari destroy it, humanity loses decades of potential progress." "Not just humanity," Naomi said quietly. "My people, Krelzak's people, dozens of worlds waiting for a chance at freedom." Krelzak suddenly tensed, his antenna-like sensors quivering. "Energy signatures approaching. They've found us." Sam grabbed her weapon. "How many?" "At least 10, Krelzak replied. "Including Vorn and HFY." Jack looked at the research data, then at his unlikely allies. "We can't let them take this. There must be somewhere we can send it, somewhere they can't destroy all copies." "I have an idea," Sam said, "but it's risky, and we'll need to move fast." Outside, the distant sound of engines grew louder as vehicles approached the isolated cabin. Their time was running out. Sam quickly pulled a satellite phone from a hidden compartment in the cabin wall. "This connects directly to my superior at military intelligence. One call, and I can have Jack's research sent to secure government servers across the country." "The Vexari could still destroy those," Dex 12 warned. "Not all of them," Sam replied. "Not quickly enough." Jack copied his research onto a small drive. "Do it. And we need to broadcast this. The world needs to know what's happening." Krelzak moved to the window, his insect-like form tense. "They're surrounding the cabin. We have maybe 3 minutes." Naomi looked at Jack. "There's something else we can do. Something the Vexari truly fear." She turned to Dex 12. "We can improve Jack's design. Right now." Dex 12's mechanical eyes blinked. "With our knowledge?" "Yes. We could advance his work by decades in minutes." Sam made her call while Jack and the aliens huddled over his equations. Dex 12 connected directly to the data, his cybernetic parts processing calculations at incredible speed. Naomi and Krelzak added their knowledge, pointing out corrections and improvements. "The basics are sound," Krelzak clicked excitedly. You nearly solved it on your own, Jack. Remarkable for a species at your stage of development. Outside, vehicles stopped at the edge of the clearing. Doors opened and closed. Footsteps approached through the forest. Sam, Jack called out urgently. We need more time. Sam finished her call and moved to the cabin's small armory. She pulled out rifles, handguns, and what looked like military-grade explosives. I'll buy you what I can. Naomi, can you still fight while maintaining human form? The blue-skinned alien nodded, shifting into a combat-ready human appearance. I'll cover the back door. Sam handed her a shotgun. Aim for center mass. Even if it doesn't kill them, it should slow them down. Jack looked up from his work with Dex 12. Sam, be careful. Vorn's skin can stop bullets, and HFY can control minds. Old trick for psychics, Sam said, tapping her helmet. Keep your thoughts loud and confused. Multiple languages, songs, math problems. Overload them. The first attack came from all sides at once. Windows shattered as Vexari agents fired strange weapons that caused the air to ripple. Sam and Naomi returned fire, forcing the attackers to take cover. HFY's voice echoed through the clearing. Surrender the human and the research. The rest of you may yet be spared. Almost done, Dex 12 said to Jack, their fingers flying over the data. Your original equations were close, but missing key elements about gravity wave manipulation. Krelzak suddenly let out a high-pitched whistle. Incoming! They're using a pulse cannon. A blinding blue light flashed outside. The entire cabin shook. Part of the roof collapsed. We need to move, Sam shouted over the noise. Now! Jack grabbed the completed research and followed Dex 12 toward the back of the cabin. Krelzak had discovered a small cellar door hidden under a rug. There's a tunnel, he explained. I detected it with my sensors. Old mining passage. As they descended into the darkness, another blast hit the cabin. They heard Naomi cry out in pain. Go, she shouted to the others. I'll hold them off. Jack hesitated, but Sam pushed him forward. She's buying us time. Don't waste it. The tunnel was narrow and low. They moved quickly, guided by Krelzak's natural night vision and Dex 12's built-in lights. After several hundred yards, they emerged in a small ravine half a mile from the cabin. The research is safe, Jack said, holding up the drive. Sam's people have copies now, too. It won't matter if we're all captured or killed, Dex 12 said grimly. We need to reach civilization, somewhere public where the Vexari can't act openly. Sam checked her weapon. There's a ranger station about 2 miles east. They'll have vehicles, communications. A scream pierced the night. Not human, but not animal either. Naomi. They've captured her, Krelzak said quietly. His antennae drooped. Jack looked back toward the cabin, now just a distant glow through the trees. We can't leave her. We must, Dex 12 said. The research is more important than any one of us. Naomi knew that. They continued through the forest, moving as quickly and quietly as possible. Jack's mind raced with possibilities. The improved propulsion system could change everything, not just for Earth, but for all the worlds under Vexari control. Suddenly, Krelzak froze. Something's coming, from above. They looked up to see a craft descending toward them. It was unlike any aircraft Jack had ever seen, sleek, silent, with lights that seemed to bend the air around it. Vexari shuttle, Dex 12 whispered. They're done hiding. The craft hovered above the trees, bathing the forest in pale blue light. A voice boomed from it, HFY's voice, but amplified and distorted. This is your final warning, surrender now. Sam raised her rifle. Like hell. Wait, Jack said, grabbing her arm. I have a better idea. He stepped into the clearing, holding the research drive above his head. HFY, I want to talk. The blue light focused on him. A hatch opened in the bottom of the craft and a platform descended. HFY stood on it, her human disguise completely gone now. In her true form, she was tall and slender, with silvery skin and eyes that glowed like purple stars. You have something that belongs to the Vexari Imperium, she said. No, Jack replied. I have something that belongs to everyone. Knowledge shouldn't be controlled or suppressed. HFY's eyes narrowed. Your species is not ready. You would destroy yourselves and others. That's not your decision to make, Jack said, and I think you know that, or you wouldn't need to hide from us. The platform touched the ground. HFY stepped off, flanked by 2 guards dragging Naomi between them. The blue-skinned alien looked badly injured but still alive. Here is your ally, HFY said. Return the research and you may all live. Under supervision, of course. Jack took a deep breath. I have a counteroffer. The research has already been sent to multiple secure locations around the world. But I'm willing to help you understand humanity better, to be a bridge between our peoples, if you let my friends go. HFY laughed, a sound like tinkling crystal. You are in no position to negotiate, human, aren't I? Jack pointed to the sky where distant lights were approaching, military helicopters responding to Sam's call. Your mission was to eliminate me quietly. How will your masters react when you expose your presence to an entire planet? Uncertainty flickered across HFY's alien features. The Vexari's greatest advantage was their secrecy, their ability to manipulate species without being detected. Dex 12 stepped forward. The Imperium fears exposure more than anything, HFY. You know this. The helicopters grew closer. Searchlights swept the forest. HFY's eyes darted between Jack, the approaching aircraft, and her injured prisoner. Finally, she made a sharp gesture to her guards. They released Naomi, who collapsed into Krelzak's arms. This is not over, HFY hissed. The Vexari will return, and will be ready, Jack replied. The alien commander gave him one last cold stare before stepping back onto the platform. It rose quickly, and the craft disappeared into the night sky with unnatural speed. As the military helicopters landed, in the clearing, Jack looked at his unlikely allies, a cyborg, an insectoid, and a shapeshifter from distant worlds, along with a human soldier who hadn't hesitated to fight alongside them. What happens now? Naomi asked weakly. Jack smiled. Now we build something new. Together. 3 months later, in a secure underground facility, Jack stood before a prototype of his improved propulsion system. Scientists and military personnel watched from behind safety glass as the engine hummed to life, gravity waves rippling around it in visible distortions. Beside Jack stood Dex 12, Krelzak, and a fully recovered Naomi. Sam observed from the control room, coordinating with government officials who were still coming to terms with the reality of alien life. Will it work? One of the scientists asked nervously. Jack nodded. It will, and this is just the beginning. The test was successful. Within a year, Earth launched its first true interstellar craft, small, experimental, but capable of reaching nearby star systems in weeks rather than centuries. The ship was named Liberty. Its mission patch featured an unusual design, 5 figures with 3 standing protectively behind one in the center. Above them all, in simple letters, was the ship's motto, Freedom knows no boundaries. Somewhere in deep space, the Vexari, Imperium received reports of the unexpected developments on Earth. They had sent 5 assassins to eliminate 1 human. Instead, they had accelerated the very thing they feared most, a new power rising among the stars, bringing with it dangerous ideas about freedom and self-determination. What began as a simple mugging in a Seattle park had become the first chapter of humanity's true journey into the cosmos.